your position on Jesus Christ?
Well, it's very simple. When you look at the leftists, we look at them as crazy when they say there's more than two genders, because that's lunacy.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, people who believe like me look at the right wing, who believe a virgin gave birth to Jesus Christ, the same way you look at those crazy lefties who believe, oh, there's more than two
real
genders.
Quick, Gary, I just want to know the topic of this. Is this? Are we going to do Jesus?
The validity of Jesus Christ being born from a virgin. All the fairy tales that are in the Bible. That's what we want to discuss.
Okay, just so we can stay concise here, because we can do the other stuff. So,
of course,
you're challenging the validity of him being born to a Virgin Mary.
Of course.
Well, okay.
The foundation, of the Bible.
The foundation of that?
Yeah, basically.
Which one
Christianity
is it?
itself. He's challenging Christianity itself.
I mean, I want to keep it kind of specific so we can move on. So the Virgin Mary.
And we can start with that, but there's a lot of ways we can go with this.
Sure. But I want to go per topic so that it stays.
Of course. So, this is a guy. This is a guy who goes on your podcast.
Yeah.
He goes on whatever. He talks down to bimbos and stuff. If any of them told him that they were a virgin and they're pregnant, he'd say they're crazy. But yet we're supposed to believe something that's in a 2,000-year-old book.
Okay.
But go ahead, Andrew. I yield to you.
Who wants to? We'll put the timer. We'll put 4 minutes on here. This will be back and forth. Maybe 5 minutes. I don't know, because it's going to be between both of them. Who wants to go first? As far as he's making the assertion that he doesn't believe in it. Andrew, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I can dive in real quick
with the virgin birth. Okay.
So I'm going to kind of give you a very classical argument for this, Gary, just so that you have it. It's written out. There's 6 conditions that gives reason for us to accept the doctrine of Jesus Christ being born of a virgin. Conditional 1, the very fact the doctrine exists at all gives reason for accepting it. And there was something abnormal about his birth is a strong a posteriori argument for its basis. If he had been born naturally by 2 parents, then nothing would be mentioned about it in the Bible, right? There just wouldn't be any mention. That would make no sense. The character of nativity narrative provides cause for believing in doctrine because of the Jewish atmosphere of the narratives themselves. Most scholars universally believe Jesus Christ existed, was a man. I can give you the institutes which believe that Jesus Christ was a person, an actual person who existed. This includes biblical scholars, classic historians, New Testament scholars, and Old Testament scholars. The rest of the New Testament is silent about doctrine. Had this teaching been invented, there might be more reason for writers to touch on it further, to argue for it. Instead, they don't. So the church universally accepts this doctrine. There's complete acceptance without hints of any other kind of explanation for the birth of Jesus, meaning sets the foundation of Christianity. This has been the set foundation for it. So the idea that their eyewitnesses actually were present and that this was a determination made and that there's never been resistance to the foundation of this shows that there's good validity to be had, that because this person existed, because there was clearly something special about his birth, and the eyewitnesses at the time are determining that there is something special about this birth, and the doctrine canonically has gone on for 2,000 years, not disputing this with alternatives, is very powerful evidence, Gary, that this could have happened. Yes. Very powerful evidence it could have happened. Now, before you attack this and say things like, well, I want, I want something better than eyewitness testimony. Well, just remember that most historic figures are based around eyewitness testimony. Most,
I see
almost all. Like
Hitler.
Socrates, for instance, he didn't. Hang on, Gary. It's my opening here.
Go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, you'll see that Socrates, people like this, they don't actually exist except in the writings of other people. They never took pen to paper themselves, yet it's universally accepted that these figures existed, because when scholars go back through and they run determination text, and we have eyewitness testimony of it from multitudes of different sources and dates, it's reasonable at that point to make the assumption that these people existed. Yeah.
Reasonable. Okay.
All right.
They've had eyewitness witness counts of Bigfoot, and they have books of Bigfoot. I mean, based off what you're telling me, all you need is eyewitness people who say and then they have to write in the book that they were eyewitnesses, and that's enough for you. Actually,
that makes my point for me.
Bigfoot is real based off the logic that you just told us, based off Jesus Christ. So Bigfoot must be real too.
Here, I'm gonna explain this because this logic actually is in my favor, not in yours.
I bet it is.
So
sir.
the Bible is the most investigated book in the history of all of mankind. There's no book which has been more sold or more studied by more people
Sold is
than
right.
this book. Okay. The thing about your Bigfoot claim that coincides with my claim is that because there was eyewitness testimony and physical evidences which were found, they did this was an investigated phenomenon. People did begin to investigate it because it became credible the second there was eyewitness testimony and evidences which were provided as to the credibility of the phenomenon. That does not mean that Bigfoot existed, of course. However, it does lead to evidences towards the investigation for the clarification. So here's what happened when those things began to be investigated. They found guys in suits and guys making footprints and things like this. So the investigated evidence didn't lead to the conclusion. With Jesus Christ, investigated evidence does lead to the conclusion that he did in fact exist. He was in fact a man who existed, and he likely was crucified by Pontius Pilate. That's powerful evidence, Gary.
Would any of that evidence stand up in the court of law?
Yeah, of course.
It would.
Eyewitness evidence always stands up in court of law. What do you mean?
Well, eyewitnesses who are alive, sir. Not people who are so-called eyewitnesses who are dead, who people can't question, sir. That type
that's completely
that's
incorrect.
Not,
so
sir.
evidences are submitted to courts all the time from people who have passed away, which would lend credible evidence as to who their assaulter could have been, who their murderer may have been. People leave behind diaries all the time, which are submitted into evidences into court. They're not alive anymore, but give credible evidences as to whether or not there could have been somebody who had a hand in foul play or fraud or any number of different things. So on this, you're incorrect.
So you're telling me you can take the Bible to a court of law and basically prove it's real? Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not what I said, Gary.
Oh, no,
what did I say?
I'm telling you, give me enough evidence that Jesus is real, because if you don't, sir, it's all fallacy. It's all
What's the
fugazi.
fallacy?
You
What's the
cannot
fallacy?
prove that a virgin had Jesus Christ, no matter how many eyewitnesses are written in a book that was written 2,500 years ago. Do you understand the insanity here, sir?
No.
You are basically acting like the leftists who say, yo, it's a miracle. Just believe me. There's eyewitnesses all over who believe in this. You have to take them at its word. The
What
same
leftists?
way. Hold
What
on,
leftists
sir.
are saying this
The
about
same
evidence? What are you
way.
talking about?
The leftists are telling you there's more than two genders, sir. It doesn't make sense. You provide no
What does that have to do with
evidence.
anything we're talking about?
It's very simple, because this mental illness that you guys have, believing that a virgin had gave birth to Jesus Christ, where you know that's impossible. It is
First of
literally
all,
impossible.
first of all, Gary,
no, hold on, sir. It is literally impossible for a virgin to have a child.
That's
That
the
is
stupidest
not
thing I've ever
possible
heard. Of course
unless
it's
you
not
have
possible.
artificial insemination.
It's not impossible for a virgin to have
sir.
a child, bro.
No, it's
It's
not.
not impossible.
Oh, my
What's the contradiction? For something to be impossible, it has to be a contradiction. What's the contradiction that a virgin can't have a child when you just admitted a virgin
if some
can?
of those whores you talk to online tell you they're pregnant and they've never had sex, you're going to believe them?
There have been women that I've talked to who've been inseminated while they were virgins.
Artificial insemination, correct. But you have to have sex. You have to have
you don't have to have sex. You can get it out of a
semen.
condom.
You have to have semen. Go inside.
Yeah, you have to have semen. That's
egg.
true.
How is that possible without that process? How is that possible, sir?
Well, hang on. So let's take it step by step. You have to start, when you say a thing is impossible, what you have to understand what you're saying is that somewhere in there is a contradiction. That's what would make it impossible. From your metric, though, this is not impossible. You're just saying it's improbable. That's fine. You can say it's improbable, or you're not convinced by the evidences which are put forward, even though, as far as a historic standard goes, there's good reason to believe that there's at least some kind of event around this which led to Jesus's credibility to begin with. That's why the credibility even exists in the first place.
There's no credibility there whatsoever.
So your idea, like the idea here, hang on, the idea here that you can make the claim, I'm not convinced by the evidence, is fair. The idea that you say there is no evidence is not fair. So that's what my argument to you would be. It's just, you can always say you're unconvinced by evidence. Anybody can say that. They can make up whatever standard they want. I don't even know what standard of evidence Gary would accept. Like what? I don't even know. But you can always say that you remain unconvinced by evidence. And that is, by the way, the atheist position. They just say they remain unconvinced by the evidence.
Because I don't believe in your fairy tales.
And
that means
that's
I'm an
fine.
atheist?
But you can't say there isn't any evidence. That's a
Because I
different
don't
claim
believe in your
altogether.
fairy tales, I'm an atheist. I said I believe in Prime Creator. I do not believe in your interpretation.
Could the Prime Creator make a woman pregnant who was a virgin?
No, of course not, because he doesn't
Why not?
interfere. The Prime
Why
Creator
not?
never interferes, and it's not Christ is king; it's karma is king. Because you have to understand, the real God never interferes. He throws you in the deep end of the ocean into this evil planet, and he sees and he tests you all the time. Are you going to be a piece of shit just so you can have more money? Are you going to cheat on your girl just because you have some pussy right here? That's going to be tests. They're going to be right in front of you over and over. And guess what, sir? Once you die, then you're judged by your karma. And that's how it actually works.
And then where do you go?
What you reap is what you sow. I believe that's in the Bible. But we'll talk about the Bible a little bit more in a second.
Yeah, sure. So shall you reap as you sow.
That's
sure.
karma right there.
Yeah.
Is that a good interpretation of it?
Yeah. Well, no, not really.
No?
Because
Okay, I'm asking you. You're the Bible expert.
what they're talking about, they're talking about basically the spirit in that case. They're saying like if you can grow rotten things out of the ground, right, that are rotten, because they don't have like any spiritual guidance, or they're spiritually sick or things like that. It's not actually giving a karma base of like if you do bad things will happen to you. That's not really what that means.
You don't believe that? If you do bad things,
that karma exists?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So everything's according to the good Lord to you, correct?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're a Christian, so you live everything according to the Bible, correct?
I live everything according to Christian ethics, yes.
Christian ethics. Okay, so would you agree that the type of person you are and the type of a life you have lived, would say a lot about how good of a Christian you are?
Well, I mean, sure. I think that Christian ethics is somewhat complex, but it's also overly simplified. And I'll give you the oversimplified version. So Christian ethics is taking a combination of virtues and duties, and then the teachings of Jesus Christ is combining them to the outlook of the follower of Jesus Christ. So we know what we ought to do, what we should not do, what forgiveness is, what forgiveness isn't, why you need church authority, normative authority to guide you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Christian ethics, and that's kind of my domain, that's kind of the purview of what that is. But each individual case for each individual person is somewhat different because Christianity exists in what's called pluralism. So like, let me give you an example. If you lived in Japan, the way that you would honor your mother and father would be different than the way you lived in the United States, right? You would have to honor them differently based on the cultural customs.
Culture.
Yeah, you'd have. So that's what pluralism would be. You still have to honor them in Christianity. However, based on the cultural dynamics that you're in, there could be multiple ways to honor them, which would still fit inside of the dimension of you adhering to the principle. That would be Christian ethics.
Okay. And what are the ethics of remarrying women that were married before?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, say a woman was married to a man, then she was divorced, she was married to another man, then divorced, then she remarried again. What are the Christian ethics of that?
Yeah, so what the doctrine says is that there's good reasons for divorce, and this is outlined by Paul, and this is also outlined by Jesus Christ himself, and then Paul really gave the full outline. So things like addiction, abandonment, things like this are completely reasonable terms for divorce, or extensive physical abuse. Those would be fair terms for divorce under church doctrine and ecclesiastical authority.
Okay. And this is a situation that you have dealt with and your father has dealt with. I've watched the videos about you when you talked about how your father had multiple wives, and you're of the same, just like him, had multiple wives too, correct?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so you took vows and you broke them. Is that very Christian of you?
I didn't break any vows.
Oh, no?
You have two people who exist. For one thing, this is I would say this is outside the purview of the debate.
I don't think so. We both agreed how a man lives his life.
Gary, I'm willing to engage. Gary, calm down. I'm willing to engage with it.
One at a time.
I'm willing to engage with it.
Yeah,
calm down.
We'll have to go to time rounds here.
Calm down. Are you saying that a divorce under grounds of abandonment or addiction or things like this, that those are not within the Christian purview of Christian ethics?
Well, I would say that, when people make those statements, sometimes they lie. Christians have a habit of lying, as you know, with our last debate. So, just because they say something about, say something about abandonment.
If you're claiming I'm lying, that's
different.
fine. I just would like the proof.
Well, I mean, you're taking care of another man's kids, aren't you?
And the proof that I've done anything wrong is?
Well, the proof is that you took an oath to a wife, and basically you broke that vow.
No, I didn't.
Now you're with a different woman.
First of all, I was a secularist essentially. I had a courthouse wedding. That's one, and two. Well, I won't even get into all the details. They're not even important. But
yes, they are.
The thing is like, Gary, it was completely appropriate to have such a divorce. One, and two, same thing with my wife. She was abandoned. Like, what do you want? By the way, it would be the most Christian as far as Christian ethics. It's the most Christian thing to do to take care of the people who are around you. Like, why would it, for instance, like if your brother died or something like this. Wouldn't you take care of his kids?
That's a false narrative. No one died.
Wouldn't you take care of his kids?
No, what happened is another man left your wife, and now you're taking care of them. So is that what you're telling us?
What's immoral about that, Gary?
Is that what a good Christian is?
What's immoral about that?
Hold on.
I'm asking if that's good Christian values.
Guys, there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely is Christian values. Like, what's wrong with that?
Another man's kid, simping is Christian values in your book.
Guys, we've deviated
taking care of people's kids, especially if they don't have a father, is a Christian virtue.
Guys, we've deviated from the Jesus Christ discussion with the Virgin Mary. Do you guys want to move on to ethics now?
This is ethics.
Yeah,
this is what do people stand behind what they believe in.
I'm fine with this, Myron. He can continue the inquiry.
Okay, so this is what we'll do. If we're gonna go ahead and suspend the debate on the Virgin Mary and etc.
Time limits.
We'll move on to we're gonna do time limits now. We're gonna put. Are you guys okay with 3 or 4 minutes on the clock?
Whatever he likes, man.
Which one did you prefer, Andrew? 3 or 4?
Well, you just do 3 minutes. It's fine.
So we'll do 3 minutes. I'm gonna give it to Gary because you brought up this topic of his wife. We're moving on from the Virgin Mary conversation, and then we'll go 3 minutes uninterrupted. Each person can make their argument, and then if you can see, then I'll bring it back to him, and then we do it as many rounds you guys need. But go ahead.
Well, it basically goes like this, man. If you're gonna preach about Christianity and you're gonna preach to others about what a good Christian is and how people should become Christians, then the way you live your life has a lot to do with it, because you basically have to do what you preach, or you're a fraud. So here's what it comes down to, man. If you already made vows to a woman and you broke them and now you're with a different woman, a lot of Christians would consider that adultery. Quite frankly, your wife, and again, I have nothing against her. This has nothing to do with her personally. But the fact of the matter is, she has kids from 2 different men. 2 different people she took vows to and said, I will love you forever. And she has kids from those people's marriages. Now, you always talk about a nuclear family, sir. What kind of nuclear family is this? The nuclear family is the bedrock. Hold on, sir. The nuclear family is the bedrock of society. A mom, a dad, kids, not a Brady Bunch. Not an ex-wife and an ex-husband. They get a whole bunch of kids from different marriages together, and they think everything's going to be kumbaya. This is what destroys society from within. So if you actually want to be a good Christian or a good Muslim or a good anything, pick the right one the first time. Now, I'm going to make this clear. I'm a numerologist. I'm not divorced like you, brother. I'm not divorced like your woman, because I pick my my woman based off numerology and astrology. Come up here, baby. We're going to make this abundantly clear, okay? When it comes down to it, you have to understand that numerology and astrology is supreme. Numerology and astrology will tell you if you're picking the right woman or the right man if you're a woman. Not this Christian nonsense. You've already failed, sir. She has failed twice. You have failed once. Who knows? Maybe you got another fail in the future. I don't know. But all I know is I've been married to my baby for 20 years. And everything we do is based off numerology and astrology. And last point, I'm not raising someone else's kids as a numerologist. You are as a Christian. I yield my time.
All right, we'll put 3 minutes on the clock. It seems like this debate is more on ethics and
personal ethics.
Yeah, I guess.
At this point, yeah.
Andrew, we got 3 minutes on the clock for you, so you can rebut
Andrew.
that.
Go ahead, Andrew. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Jesus Christ himself had a stepfather. I don't like. I don't know why you think this is a dunk. Yes, of course. The ethical thing and the ethical purview to do is to try to take care and assist people can assist themselves. There's nothing within Christian ethics or Christian virtues which disallow from you marrying a woman who has children from previous marriages. There's nothing.
So
there's nothing there. Which, dude, I didn't interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. None of that disallows it. Okay, so I don't even know where you're coming up with this. I think that what you've done is you've conflated me with like some kind of red pill bro, and you think that I'm some red pill content creator, but I'm not.
No, if you were
I follow the ideals. Stop talking, dude. Stop talking.
Don't worry, we'll
you can't seem to help but spurred.
Add 15 seconds
within
for Andrew,
within
please.
within the purview of Christian ethics. Not only am I not doing anything wrong, but I'm doing everything. All you're doing is affirming I'm a good man. You're like, Andrew's a good man and takes care of people. Oh, I know. Terrible fucking Christian. Awful. I don't even know how this is a dunk. What you're also trying to do is you're also trying to placate ego and materialism by saying, look, I bought this chick for, $100 from whatever boom boom country you bought her from. And we have this wonderful, great marriage. And, I'm not raising anybody else's kids and blah, 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 blah. I'm a numerologist. Buy my shit. Buy my product.
I never said that.
Entirety.
I never said anything about buying anything. Did I?
I don't know why you're interrupting me
about buying anything?
Why you keep interrupting me, bro?
Gary. Don't worry. We're giving you an extra 20 seconds.
It's my turn.
You're good.
So the thing is like, for you to just say, well, what you're doing is anti-Christian. There's nothing anti-Christian about it. This is an old criticism. It never done anything to hurt me a bit. Most people have mixed families these days because, unfortunately, we had to go through the boomer generation, Gen X, this type of thing. You're dealt the hand that you're dealt. People have stepfathers. They love their stepfathers. People have stepmothers. They love their stepmothers. It happens this way sometimes. Is it optimal for society? No. Does it lead to a massive amount of degeneracy? Ultimately, if this is something which is a goal, this is, in other words, something you're pushing society towards, of course. That has nothing to do with the personal situation of an individual person or individual circumstances, each of which should be assessed on their own merits within the confines of Christian ethics. So the only reason, by the way, you brought this in as a personal attack, and I understand why. Most of my critics usually will do this after they've lost a debate with me, and that's exactly what's happening now, just like it happened before.
When did I lose the debate?
Is that it, Andrew? Or
that's it?
You okay? Yeah. All right. You had a little bit extra time. We'll turn it back to you, Gary. I'll put 3 minutes on the clock.
Let's get started, man. We have a man here who failed in his first marriage, and again, this is a devout Christian man, and he married someone who has kids from two different men. So he's trying to tell you this is being a good Christian. This is being a good simp, okay? This is exactly what it is. This man is a simp, and he's trying to use religion as a clutch and a cope to cope for his simp. Sir, I never confuse you for a red pill. A red pill would never have someone like your wife who's been with two different men raising different kids, okay? So let's not have anyone confuse anyone with red pill here. You are a grifter. You are a religious grifter who is using it as a clutch to get people on your side, to get other Christians to like you, because even though I'm accused of being in a cult, the actual biggest cult in the world is Christianity. 2.3 billion people in this cult. But remember what this man just showed you. He can't prove Jesus is real by any stretch of the imagination. All he can tell you is, oh, well, if a whole bunch of people agree on something, that must be real. Okay, sir. Use that logic the same way you talk to women. This man will go on the whatever podcast. This man will go on Fresh and Fit and call people cucks when he's a simp himself taking care of other people. This is basically what he is. He's a fraud. He's been proving what he is. And at the end of the day, sir, this is what numerology got me, brother. You can say all you want, bro. This is a 40-year-old woman. You want to compare what as Christianity got you to what numerology got me? This is facts, sir. So again, you're a joke. You're being made to look like a joke right now. So you can keep simping the Christianity. You can keep grifting it. At the end of the day, sir, you go home to a ran-through woman with a whole bunch of different kids, and that's what you are. That's what your legacy is. So keep praying, brother, because they ain't gonna help you. I'll finish with this. 2,000 years, Christians have been saying Jesus is coming back. That means tens of billions of people alive have basically thought that Jesus is coming back in their lifetimes. That means tens of billions of people died fools. Jesus ain't coming back. I can't prove he didn't exist. I will give that to you. I can't prove he didn't exist. But you and everyone like you can't prove he did. In closing, my wife came here on a work visa. I found her 20 years ago. I looked at her birthday. I said, loyal woman who's going to be good at raising kids. And that's exactly what she does. Because you know what? Maybe to you, it doesn't matter that you raise kids that don't look like you. To me, it does. We ain't the same, bro.
All right. I'll put 3 minutes on the clock.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, I guess this will be the last one on this round, I'm guessing. And then what was the next topic that you guys want to hit with Christianity?
Yeah. Okay. So now
you can close this one out.
guys, I did not interrupt Gary even once,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. And don't worry, if he
Okay.
interrupts you, we'll add time to your clock, so you're okay.
So imagine the yarmulke wearing subversive over here pretending that he has kids that look like him. I'm sorry, sir. I just want to point out to you, the woman you're with, not the same distinguishing phenotypical characteristics that you have. So I don't know
Probably
what the fuck
not.
you're talking about, first of all, with
Oh, they
did I
look
interrupt
like
you
me,
even
though.
once, Gary? Stop spurging, Gary. Calm down, Gary.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, you're not rich. You're a fucking fraud. You've been a fraud for years, and I have lists of all of the frauds in which you've conducted, which include your fake rings, which include your fake ties to the Trump administration, which you do not have. You do not have ties to the Trump administration. That's a lie. How do I know? Well, it's pretty easy to deduce because the people who are in the Trump administration have no fucking clue who you are, Gary. And they're definitely not taking numerological advice from you. That's for damn sure. On top of all of this, all that you have done is say, Andrew, because I can't defeat your arguments, I'm going to attack the fact that 20 years ago or 15 or whatever it is, you married a woman who had kids. So fucking what? That's not outside of the purview of Christian ethics, one. Doesn't prove anything. And then two, you also say that I preach. I don't preach. I'm not a preacher. I've never preached. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm a debater. I debate worldviews, and I debate subversive worldviews especially, but I don't preach to anybody. I don't know where the fuck you even came up with that. I don't have a ministry, and I don't want one. I'm sure I could have one, but I don't want a ministry. On top of all of this, your claims are actually quite weak, right? The only thing that you can say is like, well, if you have stepkids, you're a cuck. That would encompass so many people. It's unbelievable. And also logically, you would have to take the next step that if you adopted, you were a cuck, right? Which makes no fucking sense at all. If you were to take care of kids from like a brother or sister who died, you would equally be a cuck. Like all of these things you would have to give a semantic distinction why it's a different thing, right? Being a step parent is not evil, Gary. Now, when you're talking about optimals for society, I can talk about what's optimal. It is optimal to be in an intact nuclear family. Who would know that better than somebody who wasn't in one? You're saying that a person who wasn't in a nuclear family could never give a descriptor that being in a nuclear family was better? That's fucking stupid. That's dumb. That's like saying that former drug addicts can't tell people that drugs are bad. Like, of course they can. And those are the people you want to say it more than anyone. So I don't understand even the logic here. It makes no sense. But on top of all of that would be forgivable. Okay? All of it would be forgivable. If it weren't the case that I know you're just a subversive. That's it. And the only reason you're upset with me is because I'm vastly popular, and I'm going to continue to be vastly popular while you nip on my heels on fucking X like the fat, pathetic loser that you are, Gary. And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about that. And the reason is because I am superior at debate. I'm superior at politics. And I have literally found you out and shown people that you are indeed a grifting fraud. And your numerology that you continuously claim has made you rich and has made you this and has made you that. Well, that's a fraud too. When you are put on the spot for your actual numerological takes, they don't even amount to anything. Like when you're talking about airplanes and this and that 43 accidents, this is all bullshit. And people who watch this, even if they walk away thinking that guy, Andrew, what a scumbag because he has stepkids, right? Or there was divorces in their past, right? Even if they all walked away thinking that, none of them are walking away believing in your fucking bullshit numerology, Gary. None
All
of
right,
them.
so we'll give, let's put 4 minutes on the clock for Gary.
Yeah.
Andrew went over there, but it's fine. I didn't want to interrupt. Did you guys want to continue on with this or move to the next?
Let me respond, and then we
you
can
want to
move on.
respond? Okay.
Okay.
Who went for? Hold on, I wrote it down.
Gary went first.
Yeah, Gary went
I
first
need to
on this
respond
one.
to this,
So
though.
then, okay, whoever goes first gets the last.
Yeah,
or-
I need to respond to this.
All right.
Okay. Let's start like this. You're pretty good at
Got 4 minutes
Drew
on the
refresh. You know what's real. Does that look like a fake ring to you? In your vast expert opinion.
The weight is definitely there, but I would need a machine to verify everything. But it looks pretty real to me.
Okay. Now let's start with that.
But
Fresh. I never claimed that I know Donald Trump personally. Did I?
no,
Okay. Did I say for about 3-4 months straight, I'm going to get you in Trump's inauguration?
yes,
And was that a very difficult ticket to get?
yes. I think 15.
Myron, when you were in D.C. with me, did I not offer to take you to Trump's inauguration?
Yeah.
Did I not have the tickets with me?
You did.
Okay. So again, I never said I know Donald Trump personally. I said I know people in his administration, which is what I do. And I got Liberty Ball tickets, which, sir, you might be a political commentator, but you weren't there. At least I didn't see you there. Fresh, did you see him there? I didn't see him there. But I saw a lot of people who actually mattered, but not you. So just the fact of the matter is, because I could actually get people at events, sometimes people who other people don't even want there, I can still get them in because I got pulled like that. So you might not believe it, but quite frankly, you don't matter. I got a bigger TikTok than you. I got a bigger YouTube than you. And by the way, I might be catching your heroes on X, which is because I've been suspended 24 times. I would have had 500,000 followers. It was taken from me. So congratulations. You beat me on an app that got me 24 times. Bravo, brother. Bravo. Now, this man basically attacked my character. Here's the thing. I don't care if he believes in numerology. He's a pleb. Okay, I don't expect to win the debates in the comment. I'm a Jew. Okay, let's face it, man. I'm not gonna win any debates in the comment area. I'm the dreidel spinner. We know that. So I'm gonna take an automatic L in the comments. It is what it is. Okay, so let's keep it real. We're not gonna judge it based off that. But here's the thing, my friend. I might be a dreidel spinner, but I married a virgin. What about you, my friend? Did your Christian values get you a virgin or someone who has ran through with kids? That's what the people here who are watching this debate need to think. Is his way of living better, or he has a woman who has kids from different men who he's raising, or is my way of life better? My kids actually do look like me, sir, because the fact of the matter is I would never marry an American whore. You did. I would never subject myself. And guys, if you're out there, these American women are no good. Just like Lenny Kravitz said, American woman, stay the hell away from me. This is why I married a Muslim woman, because Muslim women have low body counts. Your Christian women are, have more miles on it than the 1979 Mazda, bro. So you got to be real careful if you're going to go down this Christian route, because the Christian women, especially in the UK, America, all the Western society, they're cooked. Just like this motherfucker is cooked. Coming home, the kids don't even look like him. Yeah, you're better than me. In what fucking world, pal?
All right.
You concede?
Yeah. I guess unless Andrew has something that you want to go, then
Yeah.
You wanna respond,
So
Andrew?
Christianity is not about the embrace of materialism.
Of course it's not.
The idea that you think that happiness comes from something as vacant as pure materialism actually shows why the epistemology that I hold is superior. You would have to admit that just because you have money, that does not make you happy or content in life, and that the form that you have of epistemic nihilism actually leads to a purposeless life. For you, you say, even if, like you say, everybody walks away with your claims and says, you're right, this Andrew guy, this whole stepfather thing, this is bullshit. But the thing is like, just break it down logically. Let's say for a second I had no stepkids and married a virgin, let's just say. What would Gary's arguments then against me be? Nothing. His arguments would be nothing, because it would not prove numerology real. nor Christianity false. It also would not prove anything about my worldview being false. It does nothing to advance the cause of what I'm actually saying, or whether it's false or whether it's true. The reason that this is the attack vector is because Gary's stupid enough to believe that Christians are going to go, even though it's well within the purview of Christian ethics. There's not, like, the only thing you could say that I did wrong was that I took care of people who needed a father in their life. Like, what the fuck did I do wrong, Gary? What was so terrible about me doing that, Gary? Gary doesn't know. He just thinks it's a dunk to say, 3 baby daddies, divorce, oi. But the thing is like, Gary, ultimately, it doesn't matter. You haven't disproven a single position that I have, right? And even if my entire personal life was a fucking mess and I was a broken down, broke alcoholic like you want everybody to believe, you still haven't disproven a single fucking claim I've made. Not one. And I've disproven multiple of yours. So ultimately, if you think that people are going to walk away with already public information that already everybody knows, because I already talked about all of this on the very program you're on right this second, well, good luck, Gary. I don't know what it did for you, though. I don't know what it does for you.
Basically, proving someone's a fraud, proving that someone who goes on other podcasts and talks shit to women, calling other men cucks when he's a simp himself, taking care of other people's kids. That's who
not
you
what
are.
A cuck
that's
is,
who you
Gary.
are, sir.
Like, do you know what
I never called you a cuck. I said you're a simp. But you go on other programs.
So what would be the problem with me calling
to other men?
Then what would be the problem with me calling them cucks
and
who are
cucks,
cucks,
simp
Gary?
yourself, sir. This is not what people like.
I don't understand. If you call someone a cuck, that has meaning.
People are not
right?
watching this program thinking, I want to be like Andrew Wilson. Quite frankly, maybe you should change your name to Joseph.
I don't ask him.
That biblical name fits you a lot better. Joseph.
I don't ask. Gary, do you think that people follow me because they want to model themselves after my personal life?
I would hope not.
No, they follow me because
not.
I make compelling and good arguments on behalf of a very coherent worldview and destroy leftist and scumbags and lunatics all over the internet like yourself, and destroy their entire worldview, crush their epistemology, and prove exactly what they are. Even if my entire personal life was a disaster and I was a secret degen who did all sorts of horrible things, it would not disprove any of my positions, Gary.